Hey there, second grade. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Ms. Palacios, and I am super excited about today, and I'll tell you why. Today is a little bit different. I am going to be launching a web series called Talking with Friends that is about what's happening in the world right now, because I know as an adult, it's a super interesting time to be alive. So, as a kid, you probably have all of these questions running through your brain, and that is totally fine. I want to help answer some of those questions in the best way that I can. So, this web series is going to be me interviewing a bunch of amazing friends that I have about some of the things that are happening in the world, from protests to COVID-19 and school restarting to some different elements about our world, like cultures and race. And so this web series is going to be super informative, I hope, and it'll be kid friendly so that you hopefully will find some answers to the questions you may have been having. So thank you already so much for joining me for this first episode. Like I said, I'm super excited. A real joy was interviewing one of my very good friends whose name is... I can't wait to see what you think. See you soon. Bye. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. I have a super special guest today. Could you give us an introduction to who you are?
Hello, my name is Mr.Adams.
Where are you from, Mr. Adams?
Mr. Adams is from a small city in Montgomery, Alabama, but of course, I currently live here in Houston, Texas.
H-Town. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Mr. Adams. I have a lot of questions. I have been seeing a bunch of stuff on the news, and I basically wanted to address this for my students because I know that if I'm having these questions, a bunch of students are having these questions too, and I want them to know that it's totally okay. So the first question I have for you, Mr. Adams, is I've heard a lot about a man named George Floyd in the news. And I was wondering if you could tell me why so many people were talking about him.
He was a part of the Black community, of course, and he was killed, unfortunately, by the hands of police whose jobs are to protect us.
Could you explain to me this thing that I've been hearing in the news called police brutality?
Police brutality is a form of action that the police have been using, not all police, but some police have been using to abuse their authority. They have a certain amount of power against other citizens in the United States, and they use that power to take advantage of the minority, or in some cases, George Floyd.
Now, is that why some people were protesting?
A lot of people are protesting because right is right and wrong is wrong. No matter if you are the police or you're just a school teacher like me and you, if you do things that are against the law, you should be accounted for, or you should be reprimanded for that action. Reprimanded means you should be punished for that action, despite your level of employment. Like if you are a police officer, or if you are a lawyer, or if you are a doctor, if you murder someone or kill someone, that's against the law, no matter who you are. A lot of protests are going on because a lot of citizens believe that the reason that they are still free or they're not being held accountable is because they are police officers. That's like a principal of the school saying, don't run in the hallway, but the principal is running in the hallway every day. How are you making rules that you're not following?
That makes a lot of sense to me, because if the principal was telling us to do something, then the principal should be following that expectation too.
Yes, of course.
If the police job is to protect and serve, then that should be what they're doing and not harming people. That brings me to my next question. So, Mr. Adams, what is racism?
Racism can be two things. One thing, racism can be learned behavior. You have a view or an opinion of a group of people and you don't even know them at all. Putting a group of people in a category saying that all these people are bad no matter what, and that's not judging them by their character or what they do or how they treat others. That's just judging them based off what someone else perceived them as. And another form of racism is purposefully hurting others that doesn't have the same culture as you. Not being diverse, not being understanding, not listening, and belittling the other cultures just because it's slightly different from yours. That's a form of racism as well. So at the end of the day, you should want to feel as important as the next group of individuals. So you should treat them as you should want to be treated.
I love that answer, Mr. Adams. That really made me think about a lot of things, like that some people might have ideas that are racist without even knowing it. Just
yes.
Like you said, it might be like a learned behavior. So we have to kind of relearn things.
Of course. And it's not easy being a 6 and 7 year old and maybe your grandmother feels a certain way about a certain group of people, and you're not going to tell your grandmother like, hey, you're wrong. So that's a huge step for a 7-year-old to encounter at a young age, telling what's right from wrong.
Wow, that's really powerful, Mr. Adams. I love that you think it's not easy, because it's like a lifelong journey to be in the world and to treat people the right way. Every day you have to wake up and make those decisions. So it's simple, but not always easy, and you have to fight for that.
Yes, of course. Therefore, fighting for what's right at the end of the day will always put you on a better path. That's what makes leaders. You have to have a lot of courage. You have to be brave.
And then I have another question. Who is one of your inspirations, either in your culture or in your family or throughout history?
One is, of course, my father had a big influence on me. He's a man of color, of course, and he told me right from wrong. So I was aware of a lot of things at a very young age that I could use even today as an older man. So he did things the right way as a man of color. So I am influenced daily by his actions. And of course, I have others too. Right behind me is my favorite portrait of the house. If you guys can see, that is a portrait of Nelson Mandela, Barack Obama, Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X. And they all were on the porch having a conversation. Of course, the only individual in that portrait who is still living today is Barack Obama. So this is more of a vision from an artist. Say, hey, what if things were the way they should be? It was a chance to where all four of them could have had a conversation at once. Since they didn't have a chance to do it in real life, they're going to have a chance to do it in my house. They're going to have a conversation. They're going to talk. Know what they're talking about right now, but I'm pretty sure it's about social injustice. That's about what's going on today.
Wow, I love that. I'm happy you shared that with us, and that's a beautiful painting in the background. Thank you. So my last question for you is, what has all this meant for you as a Black man in America?
This all has come about for a change. Unfortunately, George Floyd wasn't the first victim to fall to police brutality. And I hate to say this, but he may not be the last person that falls to police brutality. But as a Black man in America, I am seeing change little bit by little bit. But that's okay. We're not searching for perfection. We're just searching for progression. Unfortunately, this change and this talk should have happened a long time ago. It's just unfortunate that we're having this now at the hands of the death of George Floyd. It's like spoiled milk in the car. You know it's there, it stinks, but nobody wants to get it out. We are realizing to address the elephant in the room, even when it's hard. No one wants to address it, but it has to be talked about, because that's the only way that we're going to come together as a whole.
Well, I really, really appreciate you spending this time to answer some of my questions. And I think that this is a really important conversation that everyone should be having. So thank you for being in this conversation with me, genuinely. And
no problem.
Would you like to add anything else?
Thank you so much for this opportunity to speak with you guys, and it means a lot, asking my opinion or my insight on what's been going on. And hopefully some of the information that I've given to you guys, you can take it and run with it, run like the wind. Youth has the power to change, because you guys are the youngest right now on earth, and pretty soon you guys are going to be older. When you are in a position to where you are a big adult, you can make even bigger change, because you have more responsibilities and stuff like that. So
that's powerful. I agree. These kids are going to be the leaders of tomorrow. So I'm very happy that they're watching this and that they're engaging with these important questions. Wow. Thank you for making it to the end of this video. I hope that you learned something. I hope that you feel a little bit more knowledgeable, maybe a little bit more empowered, or maybe even inspired to help. I want to say thank you, and I hope that you keep coming back to these videos. I'm going to post one every week so that we can make sure to keep having these conversations and keep asking all these important questions. Next week, I will be interviewing a doctor about COVID-19 and schools. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Have fun and stay safe. Bye.